Okay, so welcome to the third part of this Gearbox overall series of videos, and I'm now in the stage where I have to bring down the transmission, and first thing is to unscrew this bolt here. I already have loosened it. Okay, so after removing this bolt, I have to remove this wire here. That is the sensor for the backup light, for the car to know that it's in backup, so it can in reverse shift, so that it can know when to turn on the lights, backup lights. And next I have to remove the clutch release. I have to remove these two bolts, and then I have to remove the bolts for the transmission itself around the housing. But then I will have to jack up the transmission before I do this. Also, right after you jack up the transmission, you have to remove this middle support mounting. I don't know, I'll back up a little so you can see. So there is this large piece of metal here that you have to remove in order to lower the transmission. You have to jack up the transmission and then unscrew all these bolts to remove this large piece of metal, this middle support mounting. To remove the backup light switch, you have to remove these two small wires. They're just stuck in there, so get your pair of pliers and remove like this. That's it. Okay, the next thing that the manual says that you must do is to remove the two bolts from the starter motor. This is the starter motor here, and it has two bolts that connect to the gearbox. It's one here and another one there. Okay. There is a second bolt. Have to remove it, both of them. So it says in the manual. Let's do this. Now we can see the starter motor from the top of the car. It's this thing here. From the top is much easier to remove. Top screw, this one. The bottom one I've already loosened up. From the bottom of the car it's easier. So let's do the top one. Okay. So the manual says to remove the starter motor, but I don't know how I can get to those wires that the manual says that are connected to the motor. So I'll just loosen it and carry on. Okay, so now I'm taking up the transmission. Let's see if I can film this. So when it's finally jacked up, you can see that it rises a little bit. Only transmission, this stays, so this rises up a little bit, and that's when you know it's safe. A tip for, well, maybe a basic tip for people who work in mechanics. I'm an amateur myself, but unscrew the 4 screws gradually. Do not unscrew each one all at a time, because if your jack is not safe, this may fall at once, so well, all at the time. So just unscrew a little bit, then a little bit on another screw, then another screw a little bit, then another screw. Do not unscrew them all one at a time. Okay, now that the transmission is safely, I hope, in this improvised transmission jack that you can see in one of my other videos, how can you make your own. I'm now removing the rear engine support. You can see all the bolts. This does not need to come off. Only this. There are 2 that connect to the car itself. I have to remove these 2 and these 2, and then the support will come off. Looks like I'll have to remove these screws anyway. Bad move on my part. Should have unscrewed these before. Okay, so I have removed the rear support, and this is what it looks like without the support. This is where it was. So now it's not too bad. My rear engine mount is not. It's quite. I think it's good, but Yeah, okay. So now you have to remove the front screws to lower this. Okay. So now I'm loosening excuse me, the transmission bolts, and I've already sprayed some WD-40 on the screws, and there are 4 you need to remove, at least that I can see. From under the car, there are 4 you need to remove. These here, 5. I'm seeing 5 now. Let's see if the camera focuses. So I have to remove these 2 here, and then on the other side as well there are screws in similar places. You can see here, and my memory card went full again, so there are 2 more you need to remove from under the car. These, and should be another one on the other side as well. These are larger ones. These are like 17 or 18 nuts. And there are also 2 you have to remove from the top. I'm saving those for last because it's better to remove the last screws once you're not under the car. So for now that's it. Since I didn't remove the light, as always, lighting sucks. So since I did not remove the starter motor, I will have to pull the transmission towards the rear of the car so that nothing gets damaged with the starter motor, because I have no access to the wires. I don't know how they say that we should remove the wires and the starter motor first, because we have the steering rack here, and well, it's a pain. I think it's impossible, so I'm moving on, like I said before. Just be careful to move the transmission towards the rear so that the little I think there should be a little gear that goes in this large place here that I'm pointing with the light there to drive the flywheel, so be careful not to break that. Okay, so after removing or not removing, unbolting or loosening the screws on that side, you have to unscrew this one, and another one, big one here. I've already done this one and this, so the only one missing is this one here.